Hello, I don't know whether this video is working or not. I must admit I've got some housework to do. I know it's the middle of the night now. I am very grateful for light and so on at the moment, and shelter and the day itself, thankfully, in this lovely summer and temperate zone, has provided a lot of warmth, and I'm not cold at the moment. I'm very grateful, but I'm not getting on with my current projects. So I have got practical projects to interest me and that I wish to try and fulfill, as well as housework and some domestic chores. Not chores actually, very little of being chores. But I have to say, am I set up like Layla in the Time Machine? That's H.G. Wells's Time Machine. I have to ask that because I note the sheer amount of recycling that seems to be going on. Well, not going on exactly. Certainly the local council collects buckets, tubs and tubs of recycling from a lot of people all the time, and yet I'm not sure what happens to it. I did try to inquire at York Tip to try and make a documentary about it once, and they wouldn't let people film or even ask them questions at York Tip at that time. Yes, once when I went about exploring some a less frequented area of Middlesbrough, I noticed that there was a smell of plastic burning. The fumes were worrying to an extent, and I didn't get scared though. I just went to where it seemed to be emanating from and looked around that area. It may not be the same now. That was many years ago now, but I still have some photographs from that time, and I did share some online. But it does raise the question with these milk cartons, if they are being recycled, are they being burnt down? And if so, is it underground by men who are pretending to work in offices or something, going underground and burning a load of and sort of melting down a load of plastic and refashioning it, or doing a load of dry cleaning for hotels, because I don't understand where all the tumble dryers are that are doing all the dry cleaning, or whatever dry cleaning involves. Mass loads of dry clean sheets for hotels and things like that, or has in recent years. Yes, I'm very grateful in some ways to not be exposed to conditions such as aglablotchy, and certainly if the men are secretly labouring away doing dry cleaning and plastic burning and refashioning and that, then I don't understand it, because there should not have been such wastage in the first place. Glass bottles, although they shattered, it was in an infrequent shattering, I believe. And, I don't know, I myself have more or less given up drinking milk. I do occasionally drink cream and use cream, but I've given up milk. Apart from dried milk, also, in its hydrated form or whatever that involves. I've got no idea. Like, we're just complete spoilt children in a way, like the over planet children in the time machine. And it may be men also that are in that situation, but I wouldn't blame us. I don't think that if we've been led into that situation and kept in ignorance, that it's necessarily our fault, but I do feel as though I need to ask questions. When I think back to texts like Conrad's Heart of Darkness, I do realise that there was a question at the end that the woman was sort of kept out of knowing the full horror of the situation. And if men are being chivalrous, then I do appreciate that to an extent. I can't pretend that I would rather they weren't discreet about some of the horrors, if there are horrors. But certainly I feel as though it's a bit of a worrying situation, and maybe even then, maybe the Heart of Darkness, they were talking about the darkness under the ground and what was going on with the mining situation, although it did involve expansion, actually, in the text. There was also a mining question left out of certainly the women's general knowledge, who were doing, presumably reading Jane Austen. I don't know whether